All right, I'm on hole number 9 of the Monster Marsh tournament. I'm in Monday's practice round in the rookie division. Just trying to make sure that I have like a game plan on all the holes, and there's still a couple holes that I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to play them yet. 2 of the par 4s. I still haven't figured out exactly what way I want to start working. But most of the holes I have an idea of how I'm going to play them, and this is one of the holes that I definitely know that I want to end up out here right on the outside of that bush. So when it spins me around after the drive shot, I want to be looking at it like this so that I have a straight in shot to the green with my sniper with no side spin. I want a nice straight in shot to give me the best opportunity for Albie. And so ending up in here. So in my rookie account, I came out here and I was hitting a straightforward shot. I didn't have any real side spin to speak of, and I didn't put any curl at all in the shot. I was just hitting it straight forward. And I hit a great to the left and ended up in this rough. And I didn't have enough, that club doesn't have enough topspin to blow me out of the rough to end me up on the fairway here. And I had to do a layup and miss the chip in. So to prevent this from happening, as counterintuitive as this may sound, I started off in the middle of the fairway. And what I'm going to do here, because I don't want this to happen, is I'm going to split the difference between the center of the fairway and this rough and go right dead center in the middle of that distance. And then I'm going to put on a little bit of right hand curl. And right hand curl is not represented in your ball guide. So if your ball guide is showing you from the tee box and you're going out into this area right here, and here's your first bounce, and then your ball guide's coming out and you're showing this thing, so you put a little bit of right hand side spin on it to bring it back towards the middle of the fairway, your ball guide doesn't represent curl. Curl is something that you add on after you set your shot up. So the deal is that it's not getting represented here. So if I hit the shot pretty straightforward right like this, and I hit it great to the left, it comes out here. If you didn't put anything else on it, it comes out here and it hits great to the left, and then you're great to the left. There is nothing that you've done in your shot setup that's going to pull you back out to the fairway on the right hand side. And because I'm not trying to get all of this distance to get way up here, I'm not really putting this rough into play. I mean, obviously, if you hit it too great to the right, that rough's going to come into play. But I'm more towards trying to stay towards the middle of the fairway. So if I'm out in this area right here and I hit it great to the right, it's going to take a straight line shot to the right and come out towards that rough, and I have some room out there. So to make sure that if I hit it great to the left, I still end up in the fairway, I'm going to pull it a little bit to the left, and then I'm going to put curl on it to try and make sure that everything that I hit goes to the right. Now the deal there is that if you do too much of that, too much of a good thing is a bad thing, and then you hit it great to the right, you're definitely going to end up in the rough. So I'm trying to make sure that my whole goal, if you watch my videos on a regular basis, is to try and set up shots so that I can hit it great to the left or the right and still end up in the fairway. Because the way you win this game, if you want to be successful at this game, the way you win this game is to always play from the fairway. Especially when you're lower level, because you don't have great, what I call usual suspects. You don't have that Nirvana, you don't have that Spitfire, you don't have that Amazon, you don't have those clubs that can dig you out of trouble. Use a Titan. A teammate, Mike D, and me, one of my teammates, Mike D, were talking about rough iron and sandwich the other day because in his low level account he just got a Spitfire. Spitfire. 120. Nirvana. 129. What other club in your bag hits 120, 129? 127. Your long iron. So basically, when you get these 2 rough irons, you have a long iron. You're hitting your long iron out of the rough. You're hitting your long iron out of the sand. And in a Spitfire's case, it's even better because look at all the topspin it has. So you can get a long ways with your Spitfire. So having these 2 clubs in your bag is basically like hitting a long iron out of the sand and the rough, versus hitting, a short iron, which is what you're going to find with most of the other clubs that are out here, where you're hitting that 98 yards. What in your bag hits 98 yards? Okay, 88. So if you look at the max distance here, you're probably in the 90-yard range. So, most of the other sand wedges that are out there are basically short irons, whereas a Spitfire is a long iron. So this is why it's so important when you get up to Tour 7 that you get that Nirvana and Spitfire in your bag. For me, myself, I think a Spitfire is the greatest epic in the game because as soon as you get it, you'll start playing with it and you'll very seldom ever take it out of your bag. I'm not saying that an Apocalypse and all these other cards aren't awesome, but what I'm saying is that day to day, you're going to use a Spitfire every time you play, whereas you may only use an Apocalypse occasionally. Extra Mile, Sniper, Titan. The other thing about this shot is I hardly ever, if you watch me play, I hardly ever hit shots just straight forward. There's always some kind of movement on the ball. If everything on the course is going to the right, then I usually will put a little bit of right-hand curl just to bring it back to the fairway, and if it goes to the left, I'll put a little bit of left. I very seldom ever hit it straight because if you hit it straight and you're off trajectory to the left or the right, you didn't do anything in your game, in your setup to bring yourself back into the fairway, to put yourself back into play. You're going to end up great to the left or the right. And if that's in a rough or a sand area, you're going to end up in the rough or the sand. Let's see how much overpower they're doing. See how far they're trying to dig out there. And that little rough right there, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I got caught just like they did. And you can't get on from there. Not with lower level clubs. If upper developed clubs, you might be able to recover from that. So what I'm going to do is I want to be out here, but I'm going to start off a little bit more towards the left. I'm going to leave the wind in. The wind's going in the direction that I want. I'm not going to do any overpower, but I'm going to put a little bit of curl on it. And I hit it great to the left. And the curl keeps me in the fairway. Whereas if I would have hit that shot great, I hit a 2-ring great to the left, and if I hadn't put that curl on there, that first bounce, the ball's going to go in an absolutely straight line to the left, and I'm going to end up in the rough exactly like my opponent. And they haven't run, and they could get over to the other side with some overpower. And they could get up there. So the deal is that it's never good to have to hit a max overpower shot with your wedge, but if you can recover like this, you can't recover with any other rough iron in your bag other than that Nirvana. No. Just stay out of that rough. Yes. They gave themselves a shot there. That's a pretty makeable shot from there. And I actually overshot. I would rather have been back here just a little, but I've got the shot that I was looking for. So there's max club way up there. And there's minimum club. So I'm right at minimum, which is about 1.2 per ring. 1.3, somewhere in that neighborhood. Very little side spin. And you're probably going, well, you could move it over a little bit and you wouldn't have to put any side spin on. I'm always like to be at least a couple rings off. So we're a little shy of 2 rings. If we're at 1.2 per ring. You hit perfect. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if we're making good wind adjustments here. And pretty close. Pretty close to Albie. I know that whole shot setup, I've explained that on past videos and I've had people comment that, that doesn't make any sense, but it seems counterintuitive that you're trying to go to the right, so you move the ball more to the left. But that's because curl isn't represented in your ball guide. So if you want your ball to end up to the right and the majority of the fairway is on the right, then you need to, if you're going to add curl, and you don't have to add a lot, but that means when the ball touches the ground and that curl takes a hold, that everything that's moving on that ball is going to the right. If you do catch a great to the left, you'll be able to stay in the fairway because of the curl. All right. That was the entire practice round. I learned some stuff on there on some of the holes. Oh, excuse me. I'll go back and watch those videos, and so I can tighten my notes up. I've got 2 different sheets going, and I don't really have any set notes. I have the notes just based off of my original videos that I put in the scouting report that were from previous tournaments, but I actually didn't look at those too much today. Today I was just going out and playing, and then I'll go through, now that I have a practice account run and I ran my lower level account, I'll make up a set of notes for my lower level account so I have an idea of what's going on, and then I'll make some preliminary notes for my main account, and the only one I have left to play is my main account, and I'll do another practice round in it just to see how I like some of these holes. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, what my normal MO is on Tuesday I qualify my main account. And if I don't like what I'm seeing, then I practice, and then I qualify on Wednesday, which is a risk. And then I'll practice again on my practice account. And then on Wednesday, I qualify my practice account. And then on Thursday, I practice. And then on Friday, I play my main account. That way, every day I'm playing, so I'm staying in touch with the holes. What I don't like is to qualify on Monday, and then you can't play the tournament holes because a lot of times they'll take them out of play. And so then you're not playing any of the tournament holes for a couple days, and then you come back to them, and then you're kind of cold when you come in on the opening round. And so what I like to do is set it up so that every day I'm playing those holes so that I can start fine-tuning them and fine-tuning and fine-tuning so that I can try and peak on the weekend round. All right, that was hole number 9 of the Monster Marsh tournament and Monday's practice round of the Rookie Division. Thanks for watching.